All right, so there was a new episode of Star Trek this week, which is always exciting.
There was?
There was.
Oh my gosh, how did I miss it?
I can't believe it. It's full of strange energies. Yeah, we're of course talking about the season premiere of the second season of Star Trek Lower Decks. Strange Energies aired this week. First off, what did everybody think? Glad to see Lower Decks back?
Oh,
yes.
Yes, definitely back. I was Alan. I was telling them before we started that I rewatched the entire first season of Lower Decks, and I genuinely just laughed all through the show.
That's fantastic.
Just amazed at their attention to detail and the colors. So I was pumped for this new season to start up.
Yeah.
I was wondering what they would do, because as the season last year, as you get towards the end, those final 3 episodes really amp up and like sort of cinematic quality, and the stakes are higher and higher.
Right.
So I was wondering if they're going to bring it back down to start the season again and then work back up again. But they sort of did both. You opened with this great cinematic sequence with Mariner, her exercise program, which is we should say first that there's going to be spoilers. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah, we forgot to mention
talking about that.
I was thinking, oh, maybe they just know they were talking about spoilers and we're not actually going to say it.
So spoilers from here on out. If you haven't seen that episode yet, Strange Energies of season 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks, we're about to spoil you.
Consider yourself spoiled.
But anyway, so we start off in Mariner's exercise program, which is escaping from essentially the chain of command base that
that's what I was supposed to watch. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Look, I watched Where No Man Has Gone Before, and I could not for the life of me remember whatever the other episode Chuck told me.
Yeah, I told her we started a new routine with Lower Decks this year where we're getting up before I go to work and having a bowl of cereal and eating and watching Lower Decks at 5 a.m. like it's Saturday morning and we're kids.
I love it.
It's a bigger sacrifice for Veronica because I'm usually up by 5 anyway, and she's usually up by like noon or something. So.
No, it's been 8 recently, and before that it was 9.
Even so, you're making a big sacrifice getting up to watch Lower Decks with me, so I appreciate it.
But I got up perfectly fine, no problems.
But it's worth it for Lower Decks.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
You know, I was working while I was watching it, so I didn't realize that it was a holodeck until when it first started. I wasn't sure, but when Boimler said on a hologram, and I was working, so I kind of missed that. And then I thought, did I hear? And then I didn't even bother rewinding. So for a minute, I wasn't sure if I was thrown into the middle of a real adventure or not. But but the whole thing about the lights, when he said they keep showing me lights. Oh gosh, I lost it at that point.
I love seeing Jennifer the Andorian again.
Yeah.
That was a nice little comeback from last year.
She wants to use the holodeck to do yoga.
Yeah.
I love what she said. I know we're not supposed to have interpersonal conflicts, but I hate that Andorian.
Yeah.
I wrote that down too. I love those little digs or comments about Star Trek. Philosophy. I thought that was a great line too.
It was.
And you were talking about the attention to detail, just the recreation of the Cardassians, the Cardassian base, the Miranda class ship, like the Reliant from Star Trek 2, both the bridge and the ship, and just the ships are flying past on the way out. I'm like, oh, there's our ship. There was it's just stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the different Cardassian ships that they're shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually froze it because, to your point, I said, "Wait, was that a Jem'Hadar beetle?" I always thought they would look like a beetle. Is that a Jem'Hadar? And you're right, that was a Jem'Hadar ship there. So really great attention to the detail.
Yep, absolutely.
I've got to say that Star Trek translates really well to animation.
Yeah, it does.
It just looks great.
Well, the way it started off, like you said, cinematically and stuff. But did it feel like in some ways the show was a little bit more of a lighthearted show overall? To your point, to balance out the more dramatic intenseness of the season 1, because season 1 went out. Wow, talk about a bang.
Yeah, it did seem lighter to me, and it was like harkening back to one of the very, very first Star Trek episodes, which was pretty cool to see what they were going to do to change it and what they were keeping the same. So I remember having watched it before. So I was connecting it in my brain while I was watching it for the first time. But then I went back and watched it afterwards and caught a few extra things that I hadn't fully connected. But look, nice. I remembered Star Trek episode. Yay!
That's impressive. That means it left an impact on you.
Yeah.
It was the eyes.
I like to see their version of somebody getting Gary Mitchelled, for one, Ransom had abilities that they couldn't have pulled off of the visual effects in the 1960s, where his head flies off and becomes giant.
Yeah. Right. And he builds a smoke body that develops hands and eats the ship like a hamburger. Yeah.
I've got to say that con officer was cracking me up when he just deadpanly said, Captain, there's a giant head heading for us, or whatever it was he said. And then later he's like, brace for grappling. Well,
was it grabbing or grappling?
I thought it was grappling, but I said it wrong.
I think grabbing. Yeah. I can't.
Grabbing. Yeah.
Grabbing.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I hope we're going to see more of him.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that. Was it Stevens? The little guy who.
Yes, his buddy, his little buddy.
He starts turning people into ransoms. And he's like, do me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I thought that the civilization on the planet and like where this strange energies came from was pretty slight. They just sort of moved right past that. But I like that they used the adventure to tell you about the characters of what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, because you literally have to believe that their buildings are so covered with soot and grime that they hadn't even bothered to clean off to see the symbols beneath. And then she cleans off the little orb and it immediately starts glowing, which I thought was funny.
There was a reason it was dirty.
Hey, that's a good point, because as soon as she exposes, someone goes, "Oh, who knew the ancients built this?" or something like that. Like, whoa, you're right there. And then to just being silly, the whole thing where their culture is all about numbers. And they couldn't pick a subspace frequency. And the guy's like, he said, basically, we have to pick a number our grandchildren will be proud of, and just pick a number. And they had that whole table. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I love that. You get a continuation of what's going on with Mariner and her mom. They sort of had decided to team up at the end of last year, and that's not going so well. They're both sick of it. And then Ransom is jealous. He likes to be the number one. He doesn't want to be like, "Oh, Ransom, I forgot you were here."
Yeah,
which is pretty harsh. He's like, I'm supposed to be the number one.
I also really liked the dynamic between Rutherford and Tendi.
That was fun.
And I really liked that they're having their sort of like makeup, conflict resolution thing while this massive thing is going on outside the ship. And they're just kind of oblivious to it because and the red alert klaxon is going off, and they're just like, but I was having my heart broken, and I wanted you to be my friend, and blah blah blah, and then the guy
lower decks.
Exactly. I thought it was so sweet.
Yeah, I love that bit where I don't love it because she's upset, but where she starts to cry, but behind her there's a giant Ransom head like chewing on the warp nacelle.
Yes, I thought
they didn't even notice it. Yeah,
right.
Oh, it's so great.
I like that Tendi still has her sort of mad scientist tendencies where she's ready to take his brain out.
I thought it was so sweet, though, that she's basically, she's not just jealous, but she's, missing her best friend because her best friend has now found, somebody else to spend time with, and she can't process it. And she assigns it, this weird scientific reason that has to be true because look at all the evidence.
Right.
I thought I just thought their storyline was really, really sweet.
What was it? SMD she said he had? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
SMD.
SMD. At one point he was running. He said, "I don't have LSD." He said, "No, SMD." She said, "But you hate pears. You hate pears." And I like
the episode. Is he actually back to hating pears, or is he just saying that?
Yeah, I think she corrected the pear thing. Or you're right though. He may have just wanted her to stop trying to take his brain out.
Yeah, that was really silly and funny when she had him on the table and she had all the electrodes on him, and she said she had to shock him. Basically, she's giving what we would call old school, electroshock therapy. Mm-hmm. And then she said it had to be random. So every time he talks, and then she starts hitting him with stuff.
I like the callback to his date with Barnes from the first episode last year.
Yeah.
But now that they're getting along, which I liked Barnes. I thought she was cool. So I'm glad to see her with a little screen time again. I'm surprised she's never met Tendi. I didn't think the ship was that big, but
yeah.
Me too.
But I love when she said, your friend's about to shoot you. Like,
yeah, She must really see something in him she likes, because on that one date, to your point, remember they were on the turbo lift and she just hauls off and kisses him. And then he starts babbling on about the door or something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't responding in time, and she's like, seriously? So I'm surprised she even gave him a second chance.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Rutherford didn't be like, what? When Dindy told him that he did that and then not hang out with her anymore. So clearly there was something going on there with his brain. Clearly at that point you could tell this is not Rutherford anymore.
Yeah.
Because that was not important to him.
Yeah. Well, or he just really wanted to go swimming with the girls from Cetacean Ops.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, one of the things that I have been hoping for in season 2 was that we would see Cetacean Ops. For anybody who doesn't know, that's where the whales live.
Yep.
The dolphins and all that stuff. And yes, they have dolphins on the ship. It's on the schematics of the Enterprise D. I am so excited about seeing this. And so I was like, maybe they're going to see it and we didn't, but we will.
I feel like we will. Yeah.
I think we will. There's going to be an episode where the dolphins play an important part.
I was wondering if they were always just going to make it a trope and we never see them, but
it would be funny. It would be funny if they did that, but I just want to see dolphins.
Because man, they mention them a lot now. I remember, I think Patrick Stewart said it once in the original series. In the first season, he actually said Cetacean Ops because that's where it came from. There was a whole discussion around that. But to your point, when they said that, I thought, are we going to see them? Because they're going swimming with them. And I'm thinking, okay, but we never got to see them.
Another thing that I thought was really interesting is that we went pretty much the entire episode without seeing Boimler.
Mm-hmm.
And up to the point where I thought they were going to pull Discovery season 3, where they started. The first episode was just Sonequa and what she was doing in the future. And then the second episode is basically 100% Discovery when it arrives in the future. And I thought they were going to kind of pull that same trick where the first episode was going to be all on the ship with the lower decks buddies saying, oh, we really miss Boimler, and we don't see him because that way we miss him too. And we kind of did get that. We just got that little tag at the very end with him. So I keep kind of wondering if next episode will be heavy on Boimler and less on the Cerritos.
It'd be funny if for a series of episodes, they end every episode or begin every episode with a real quick Boimler thing, kind of like they go in and out. Because I will tell you, Alan, to your point, as I enjoyed today's show, but that 2 or 3 minutes of Boimler was my favorite part of the whole show because that was great. They had action going on. Riker was basically laughing in the face of danger. Boimler kept going, wait, what are you saying? At one point, the guy goes, prepare to enter gluonic space or something like that. And he goes, what is that? And Riker is just, he's got that look. He's really getting into it. And I looked at everybody on the bridge. Everybody on the Titan had that kind of look, with the teeth, the gritted teeth, like they were really going for it. And Boimler is 100% in panic mode the whole time. He kept saying, he's probably got his own room. He's probably really enjoying himself. And then Riker does the whole "I love my job" laugh.
Yeah,
that was a great sequence.
Yeah, it really was. So I'm really looking. I hope we do get to see a little bit more of Titan.
Mm-hmm.
We probably won't see. I'm predicting that we won't see much more than just next week.
Yeah,
and Boimler will be back on this. I keep wanting to say Discovery. He'll be back on Cerritos at the end of next week.
And that'd be fine with me. I miss Boimler.
Yeah,
having him out of that group. It feels like there's something missing because there is.
Yeah, there absolutely is. But it's interesting to see him attaining the thing that he has wanted his entire time to attain, and he's not ready for it.
Yeah,
it's so much bigger and scarier than he ever imagined it would be, and he's not seasoned enough to be there yet. So I'm really liking. So I would love to see an entire episode of just him on the Titan before he comes back to Cerritos. So we really get to see what his life on that ship is, how much different it is on that ship from what we see on the Cerritos, and how he either is or isn't fitting in with his crewmates. Now, last year, didn't we get trailers at the end of the episodes for next week?
I don't remember.
Why didn't we get one this week for at least like some more here's what's coming down the season kind of trailer?
Yeah, I don't remember now last year if they aired automatically at the end or if you had to go find them someplace else like YouTube or
Yeah,
on
I
Paramount
have
Plus.
a vague recollection of having to go find them somewhere on YouTube because there wasn't the Will Wheaton after Trek.
Yeah, there was,
thing.
just not for every episode. There was this week. We just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, we haven't. I haven't either.
Yeah.
I don't get home in enough time to watch both the episode and the after show.
Right.
One character I am really liking is the Doctor.
Oh, absolutely. I love her in the first season.
She's just funny. She's just funny. Like when the captain was asking her, she said, "Well, how did Kirk deal with Gary Mitchell?" She smooshed him with a boulder.
Yeah. And I love that they brought that back as a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. She comes at the end basically with a forklift and a big boulder on it.
But it sounds like Kirk should have just applied direct pressure to Gary Mitchell's neutral zone.
That was one of the best lines of the episode.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool too because they kind of subverted your expectations because on the ship the captain is talking to him. You know, you're important to me and you're my friend. And then she even goes, "Did I do it?" She thought that whole you talk him down, and then it turns out no, actually her daughter's on the planet beating the heck out of his body. His head's up his face and his body is down there just getting kicked and kicked and kicked. One other thing I thought was funny is when he picked up the Doctor, she was trying to hypo him. He turned her hypo into an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
And then when she hits the ground, she goes, "Ah, damn it!" And then she starts eating ice cream. So just all these little things that they do. I thought was hilarious.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right.
Ice cream.
One thing we kind of skipped over was that they've upgraded the opening credit sequence. There's a new model of the ship with more detail, but the one thing that really jumped out at me was they added more ships to that Borg Romulan battle.
I thought so.
There's Pakleds in there now and Klingons in there now.
Oh yeah, I was kind of I started dinner at the same time I was watching, so I was not as locked into the opening credits.
Well, they have a new ship model that has more detail on it, but. Also, yeah, I guess I don't know if they're just going back to see what was going on with that battle or if they just keep running across Borg Romulan battles.
Right.
But I thought it was cute that they incorporated the ships that they introduced over the course of the season. Last year.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good show. It was actually, to your point, it was a little more lighthearted than I might have expected in some ways. But at the same time, it probably makes sense given that arc at the end of the last season. Maybe need a little bit of time to breathe. And I love some of the lines they had, like when this whole thing, I didn't know that strange energies was a phenomenon that actually existed in a medical database because the Doctor, it wasn't like she was surprised. She was given a diagnosis when she talks about strange energies can have different effects on people. It could even convey godlike powers. Like she was looking in the medical database. And then I thought that dry comment from the captain when she says humans have a complicated relationship with organized religion. I thought that was a interesting little thing that she threw in there. And I love the picture of Gary Mitchell that they had on there too.
I did too.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was cool.
I mean, it looked like him. It wasn't even hard. I was like, that's Gary Mitchell. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. So I guess that makes sense. He's 100% in the database.
Yeah. I mean, you'd want to document that if there's an energy you can come across that turns your crew into godlike beings.
You need to know about it.
Yeah.
We've talked a couple of times about the tone of the episode, about it being lighter, and I think it has to be.
Yeah.
You have to get your audience back into the new season, but it also has to have somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't start at the place that season 1 ended.
Right.
You gotta kind of step back. We're gonna have a little fun, and then you kind of build up to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be another big ending this year, but it has to crescendo.
Yeah. And I thought it was brilliant last year. They sort of, over the course of those first episodes, sort of set your expectations and then just blew them away week after week in those final episodes.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I would never have. I mean, I liked it to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect by the end of the season to love it as much as I did.
Right.
I mean, to the point where I think it might be my favorite Star Trek show. Right?
Period.
Yeah.
Well,
all time or the new stuff?
Of the Paramount Plus back.
Okay.
Okay. That's
I mean,
acceptable.
I was like, wow, after 10 episodes?
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say that's a big thing if that's
But
the case.
considering that we have not yet had Strange New Worlds, and more importantly, we have not yet had Prodigy,
Right.
Yeah.
which everybody knows how excited I am about Prodigy.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that out of the new batch of shows, I think Lower Decks I like the most. But I also say I think out of all Star Trek, I think it has one of the strongest first seasons of any Star Trek series.
Agreed.
That's for sure. Definitely has that. One other thing on the thing that I thought was funny, we were talking about the tone, was when Ransom was a god, when he starts bellowing, it's easy to become a god, harder to remain one. And then he starts basically he starts doing weightlifting with trees, buildings.
Yeah.
And then materializing all that weightlifting equipment.
Oh, it was great. He's living out his fantasy. At one point, the captain asked the doctor what he was doing, and she said, "He's doing buys and tries." And you can hear him in the background. He's going, "Feel the burn, feel the burns." I thought that. And something else that did I miss this from last time when on the Titan, when they were fleeing the ships, they called them Packlet Battle Harpies.
Yeah.
I missed that name from last time.
That's a pretty cool name.
I don't remember it being said last time.
I don't think it was said, but I think it's been in the promotional material and stuff.
Okay.
Because I've heard the name before, but I didn't even notice I said it in this episode. So
Yeah.
Neither did I. I didn't catch that.
They said there are several Packlet Battle Harpies pursuing us. So I'm thinking, so the Packlets are a thing then, huh?
Yeah, look, the Packlets.
Lower Decks. Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny. So they succeeded with the laser whip wearing the laser whip Ferengi didn't succeed. The Packlets are going to succeed as a villain.
I think the Packlets are cool. I like the Packlets, and I think recent events have shown me that there's morons can be pretty terrifying.
Yes.
In large numbers.
Wow.
So I think that the Packlets are the villain we need right now.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Oh, there's a good point. Well said. So overall, that y'all like it? Was there anything were you disappointed or let down, or just what you expected for the?
No, it
was fantastic. Yeah.
Another first episode, and I think it's exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah, I think the explanation for what was going on the planet was a bit slight, but it wasn't about that.
Exactly.
So I don't hold that against the show, but I would like they went real fast from these guys like numbers to this device is turning Ransom into a god.
Right.
By like
very
30
angry
seconds.
god.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I said, I like that they used Mariner's holodeck program as well. Just everything in this episode was being used to tell us what the characters are thinking and what they're feeling.
Exactly.
And if that means you turn into a giant head in space, that happens.
It's very Freudian, man.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I thought it was good. I'm looking forward to the season.
Yeah. Now, next week's episode, I believe the title is Kayshawn, His Eyes Uncovered, which Kayshawn is the name of the Temerian security officer.
Yes.
So
very exciting.
Exactly, man. I can't wait for that guy to show up.
I missed that. That's awesome, then.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
So
I'm hoping Boimler comes along to help translate because he's the only one that can translate. Because he studied it so much because it was one of his nerdy things. That'd be cool. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Okay.
I'm
Like,
literally making things up.
Concocting reasons for him to come back to Cerritos.
Yes. Because they have to have him because they have this security officer, and even Mariner's like, I don't know what he's saying.
Okay.
Maybe that's
what'll happen.
Or Rutherford will try to download something into that implant of his.
I like that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, having rewatched the first season, I watched that episode again, the one where they go on that mission and they make him download everything, and it keeps rebooting. I mean, that is such an awesome episode. Yeah, it keeps rebooting. He keeps waking up and he's surfing. At one point in the middle of danger, it says downloading Klingon fonts, reboot. He goes, wait, why would he know? He's a great character too. Wow, I didn't know that one about next week, Charles. I'm excited. That's one of my favorite episodes of TNG. I love that episode. So I'm interested to see how they're going to handle that.
Yeah, so Veronica, watch Darmok before next week.
Okay, gotta rewatch Darmok. I actually remember that one.
Oh, good.
We go down to the planet and everything and try and talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yes. Such a great episode.
Alan, where can people find more of you on the internet?
Let's go to www.cosmicpress.com. KOZMIC press.com. And you can find Cosmic Press on Facebook and Twitter and and I do a Sunday evening. Well, it's kind of going off of Sunday evenings now, and just going to be like random content when I put random content out on YouTube called Alan's Music Room, and Hulanta.
Woo!
Hulanta. Find Hulanta on Facebook and Twitter.
How about you, Keith?
You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook with the ESO Network Facebook groups.
And how about us, Veronica?
Feltnerdy.com. Oh!
Nope. I can talk faster than anyone. I don't know if anyone actually understood what I said. Feltnerdy.com.
Feltnerdy.com.
Yeah. Or just look us up on Facebook because you wind up in the same place.
That's where you're going to go when you type in feltnerdy.com.
Right. All right. Do you have a closing for us, Veronica?
Nookne! That's what I thought. I know that's hello, but that's what came to my mind.
Okay.
Yep. Nookne!
You said it with such feeling. That's great.
That was fantastic.